Good morning, everyone. We would like to start with our panel discussion regarding investing in the future and creating opportunity in driving growth. Before I start introducing my fellow panelists, I would very quickly like to talk about ADX. We are the stock exchange here in Abu Dhabi. And we want to discuss today with our panel how emerging technological trends are actually shaping the investment landscape. So in particular, the vision of ADX is to connecting opportunity and driving growth. It is to be a leading financial marketplace and fueling sustainable economic growth. Today, ADX is the second largest market in the MENA, and we are aligned with Abu Dhabi's 2030 vision as well as the UAE's Next 50. In particular, the vision of Abu Dhabi is to diversify from oil into the knowledge-based economy. And ADX and its listed companies has a very important role to play in this journey. So we are a very efficient venue for corporates to raise capital. We provide a world-class market infrastructure, and also very important, we provide investment opportunities in companies that represent the knowledge economy. So therefore, it's for me a great pleasure today to have representatives from Bayanat and Presight. We will talk about their business model and the impact on the financial market in detail in a second. Let me recap shortly the performance of ADX in 2022 and 2023. So I'm very pleased to say that in 2022, ADX actually outperformed all major global equity markets on the back of a very strong economic situation here. To give you some idea, our key benchmark increased substantially, as well as net foreign investors, also trade values. But also, we had 5 IPOs that raised more than 20 billion dirhams, and one of them was actually Bayanat. It was our first tech company to list at ADX, and the pickup was tremendous. The oversubscriptions was 90 times on aggregate, raising over 600 million dirhams. Furthermore, we launched the Tabadul Hub, which is connecting us with other exchanges in the region, and we launched the derivatives market. 2023 continued in a similar strong trajectory, reflecting the strong confidence of the market in Abu Dhabi. We had the listing of ADNOC Gas, the world's largest IPO to date. We also had the listing of Presight, who similarly to Bayanat was significantly oversubscribed and featured among the 10 largest IPOs in the world year to date. We also continue to have a very strong pipeline for the remainder of the year, and it is strongly supported by the IPO fund that here in Abu Dhabi that looks to support companies through the IPO process. So, having said that about ADX, we want to discuss today again how emerging technological trends are impacting the investment landscape. We therefore have brought companies that are strong and leaders in the space of AI, big data, and geospatial. Let me quickly introduce our dear panelists. We have Mr. Reniel Rauf, CFO at Bayanat. He's a senior and transformational professional. He brings more than 20 years of global experience to the market, and prior to Bayanat, he had several VP roles at 42 Jet Airways and Etihad. So thank you very much for joining. We also have Ram Mayur. He's the CFO at Presight. He leads the finance organization and is responsible for organizational, financial, and operational strategy. He has more than 2 decades of experience and held several positions, such as Motorola Solutions across various geographies around the world, and is instrumental in building the capabilities of his organization. And then last but not least, we have Amitender Sahi. He's a member of ADX. He presently leads the market development and is focusing on developing new products and platform. He has worked across 2 decades and in numerous stock exchanges such as Nasdaq, Dubai, and the Bombay Stock Exchange. So, I would like to start this question forum with initially asking you, could you actually explain what is your company doing and how are customers using your capability? If I might start with you.
Thanks, Matthias. I'm hopeful and we are audible. You're not? Okay. Is that better? Yeah. I may lean in a little too much, so please don't misunderstand this for being too casual. Thanks for the opportunity, ADX, and to the annual investment meet. We are really thankful for being here and having the opportunity to share our story with all of you. Binath is a geospatial artificial intelligence company that has been based in Abu Dhabi for over 49 years now. It was acquired by G42 in 2020, and G42 continues to be the major shareholder. We have created AI-infused analytical tools on the back of existing traditional data that was available to Binath over the many decades of its existence. We provide AI-based information and decision-making technology to almost all our consumers in the government, environment, transport, mobility, and energy sector. Where we excel is in using our geospatial intelligence platform over multiple horizons. So we provide capabilities in the operations front, on the HR and logistics front to our customers. In addition to that, we have also piloted and implemented autonomous and electric mobility across the UAE for the first time with the support from the ICT and the DMT of Abu Dhabi. So in a nutshell, that's what we do. And as we get in more deeper, we'll explain what else we do.
Thank you.
So again, thank you. Am I audible? Thank you for having me here. Thank you, Renil and Amit and Matthias and ADX as well. Thank you for this opportunity. To briefly introduce Presight, we are a big data analytics company powered by artificial intelligence. Essentially, our key competency would be to use our big data analytics platform called Transformative Analytics Quotient, TAQ for short, on a wide variety of real-life, mission-critical public safety and public services related use cases. We have over 10 plus proprietary solutions and more than 100 plus AI models that are linked to this platform to be able to bring to bear for our customers and other stakeholders tremendous amount of AI computability, both analytics that are retrospective as well as analytics that are predictive. And the good news, and not many people know about it, is all these technologies are very much homegrown here in the UAE. So it is purely a UAE developed platform, and the models, associated models too, are from here. And these are industrial grade. What I mean by that is these are not something that are just used only at the enterprise level. It's application extends to real life scenarios. For instance, we were the operations support, provided operation support systems to the Expo 2020, whereby the Expo 2020 used our solutions to almost welcome 24 million visitors during a 6-month period. And even more so on a more public service oriented applications, we also supported the UAE government to use our data-driven analytics to manage the COVID pandemic. And as you may all recall, UAE was one of the countries which were able to manage the pandemic in a much more controlled way, keeping our borders open for longer periods of time. So the technology we bring to bear to our customers are real-world impacting technologies and benefits. And this is not AI in an abstract form. It has got truly practical applications and benefits. Thank you.
Thank you. Amit, if you maybe can give a bit more light of what ADX does.
Sure.
Thank you, Matthias. Nice to Renel and Ram for joining. It's a pleasure to be here at the annual investment summit. Representing ADX, I would just like to give an overview. The Abu Dhabi Securities Exchange, or ADX as we are called, we are the de facto stock exchange of the Emirates of Abu Dhabi, and a very fast emerging exchange in the region. We are number 2 now to Tadawul, as Matthias had just shared the statistics. Important role for ADX is that we are the seat of capital formation for emerging businesses. So we provide the opportunity to all kinds of companies, private companies, family businesses, free zone companies, and emerging smaller companies to come and raise capital on our market. And also importantly for investors, we are the hub where wealth is created and distributed. So that's the core of us. In terms of market structure, we have segmented our market into the main market, which has the larger companies. We have got the growth market, which has got emerging smaller companies, which very niche businesses, providing good investment opportunities to our investors. More recently, we have started diversifying our product base. So in the last couple of years, we ventured out and launched the derivatives segment. So we now have derivatives. We trade equity futures and index futures. 11 products are traded on our derivatives market, providing traders and investors ability to hedge and also to take macro trading strategies using the derivative products. We've got a very fast-growing ETF market, which provides macro investment opportunities on the regional markets. Currently, we've got 8 ETFs listed on the segment, which provide access to markets like Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Turkey. Even a couple of ETFs based on the US S&P 500 are listed on our market. And of course, we have got the UAE market ETFs along with their Sharia versions also traded on the ETF platform. We are also looking at indices. So last year, we did a partnership of co-branding our indices with FTSE Russell, which is one of the largest index providers. And we now have a list of 13 co-branded indices with FTSE Russell. We also launched our flagship FADX 15, which is a tradable index, which is now seen as a benchmark, which Matthias was referring to in terms of how our market performed last year, one of the best performing indices in the region. And looking into the future, we're looking keenly at the emerging technologies, since this is a forum to discuss of how technology is impacting, the market landscape. We're also looking into the emerging technologies and seeing how we can, introduce new products and platforms on the digital side, on the new renewable energy side, and other areas, including derivatives and ETFs.
Thank you very much, Amit. Let's explore a bit the intersection of the capabilities your companies has with the investment landscape and how it informs the whole process from identifying to making an investment and adjacent fields. So first question to you, Ram. The amount of data that is available today, structured and unstructured, is way beyond the capability of any individual or even organization to make sense out of and to inform decision making. How do you help companies, and what do you see particularly in the investment landscape where these capabilities can be utilized?
You're absolutely right. Actually, the amount of data that's available today, especially with the tremendous explosion in digital transformation across the board, there is going to be an equally proportional, if not larger, explosion of digital footprints. So it's humanly impossible to make sense of all the data that is available out there. And that's where I believe AI, big data analytics powered by AI, plays a very important role. From a context of a pre-site standpoint, we have 6 verticals that we are focused on to be able to reach out to the market and serve our customers. Predominantly, it consists of 3 core areas and 3 priority areas. The core areas include public services. As I briefly outlined earlier, These are instances where we are working very closely with public agencies to provide public services in a more efficient manner and in a more effective manner. The examples are highlighted like Expo 2020 and the pandemic management. So it forms the scope, or the breadth and the scope of application of AI in this field is tremendous. It is not just pertaining to the domestic markets here in the UAE. We also do this on a pretty industrial scale in almost 13 markets that we are very active in across 3 continents. So we have a very international flavor to utilizing these solutions. So these homegrown technologies finds its applications to deliver citizenry welfare services by various government and other public agencies around the world, across 3 continents. The next vertical, for lack of a better word, is the financial services verticals. We have anti-money laundering tools, audit programs, audit tools, which enable our customers to maintain rigorous audit programs at their end. And for instance, a real use case scenario would be our recent agreements with the Abu Dhabi Accounting Authority, ADAA, and whereby they are implementing our audit programs and platforms to a great extent to make sure the financial transactions are secure and any fraudulent activities detected and investigated in a timely manner. And the third is, it's also more of a focus area for us, and it's a lot more interesting in terms of the public interest, is the sports area, where we are bringing in our abilities in terms of big data analytics powered by AI into the sports arena, so to speak. We have, as you may be aware, we recently tied up with Mercedes F1 Formula One team to be their data partner. So whereby they will be able to utilize our AI tools and techniques in order to further their, their car program. I think they're slightly lagging behind. Hopefully by end of the season, you would see Lewis and George, they would be able to start winning some races by using our data. We are also tied up with another major sporting event, which is cricket. We are also partnered with, in February of this year, we partnered with Abu Dhabi Knight Riders, which is of the same, the Kolkata Knight Riders cricket family, which is it's a big Indian Premier League sports franchise. So we have been working with them, and then we are partnering with them to, again, as their data partner, to enable them to do a few things. So in what ways can AI, big data analytics AI, be applicable in a sporting environment? For one, a lot of analytics is used in talent management, or in more sports language parlance called scouting. Using our data, you are able to match the strengths and weaknesses that you have and opportunities to any player that you are looking to bring into fold. You can also manage fan experience and also analytics on the game itself and how a match is progressing and what on the fly changes the program may predict. So as you can see, these are real life impact that AI can bring, and which are tangible. Most of the times AI seems very abstract and distant and very technical. Actually, while the back end of that is so, I think the ability to bring to bear and bring the impact to the day-to-day activities and the opportunities are there, and it's only growing. And the priority areas, the last 3, I'll kind of go quickly through them. We have a focus on climate, as it's a very key component, and it's a very hot, very important topic that's being discussed across the globe. We enable with carbon credit management and anything that has got a data source, climate related or weather related. We are able to bring it into our platform, the TAQ, and able to bring out some meaningful analysis for benefits of various stakeholders. We are also into infrastructure, where cities help plan cities to build infrastructure that are more suitable from a climate standpoint, as well as from a citizenry standpoint. And also into education, which is the last sector, where we provide a meaningful and very bespoke education and syllabus management systems for both the schools as well as for the student bodies at large. So these are the various channels by which we strive to bring our homegrown technology to make societal impact on every scale, the small to the large.
Thank you. It's very fascinating, the very vast and wide areas of usage. So I was wondering in particular, and maybe to follow up on your insights, asking then Amit, how has the financial markets evolved leveraging what companies like Presight are doing? How are they informing investors?
So just to take a step back, you see the advent of technology has significantly altered the way financial markets have been structured and the way the audience or the investors, participants interact with it. So if we see historically, stock exchanges used to be trading floors, and you had participants who would come and make signals to each other on the trading floor and then do a bilateral trade. In the new century, just towards the end of the 90s, we saw everything going electronic. All the markets transformed themselves to become electronic exchanges, and then the opening bell ringing and closing bell ringing became customary. So that was the first point when technology started impacting, that everything in the market from open to close became electronic. The speed of execution became tremendously lower, powered by these computing machines. And then as we venture into the new century, the 21st century, we've seen a new breed of participants, trying to leverage all advancements in technology to bring in applications which span not only the trading side, but also the investment side. So we are seeing more and more usage of, the ability of computing power, higher speed of networks, and the ability to use, logic and programs, pre-programmed to basically drive portfolio management, to basically drive trading strategies. And these are the new emerging trends in the markets. Also, from an investor and standpoint, how the stock exchange was accessed earlier. It used to be, via personal visit to the broker's office, or just pick up the telephone and call your broker, put an order, a limit order is put, and you get to know at the end of the trading day whether that order is executed or not. To the point in time today when you have on your held hand smart devices, you just log on, through your face recognition, you go into your broker's online platform and you put your order yourself. And instantly when it's executed, you get alerts. So technology has severely altered the way, the consumption or how the participants are now interacting, both retail and institutional participants are interacting with the financial markets.
Thank you very much for your views on the impact. I think there's a very interesting area as well on the technology side, which is geospatial data. So I also wanted to ask you, Reniel, first maybe to the benefit of the audience, what is actually geospatial data? What does it do?
So essentially, geospatial is all aspects of the topography of the Earth. So it starts with Earth, water, any terrain, and air that is between us and space, right? Geospatial includes changes to the terrain, the way our Earth behaves, the way the vegetation grows, the way transportation moves, the way cities operate, the way people move, the way energy transmits. Geospatial is essentially the lifeline of a functioning economy and a city or a nation, right? We can draw parallels to this in terms of, how, you remember in the old days how the maps were all flat. And then we used to collect the information. We used to send like vessels out to scan the sea. We used to send aircraft or satellites into space to scan from the orbit. And also from a ground level, we used to send cars or people with cameras across to understand how buildings are structured and stuff like that. What has happened to us over the last few years is that we have actually moved from the plane to the 2D to the 3D, and now into an artificial intelligence-based digital twin model, where we actually can replicate what is happening inside a living ecosystem. In addition to that, we can also simulate and look at scenarios of how various infrastructure, human, and energy segments interact with each other to see how we can make cities more self-sufficient, self-reliant, save on energy consumption, reduce utilization of natural resources, measure, for example, vegetation, water, even how animal husbandry works, for that matter. We've got so many vast implications of where our services can be deployed. For example, we can look at oil spillage, right? We can look at, if you have an ESG project, for example, we can look at how your project has actually advanced in certain geographies. We can help you measure that to convert that into carbon credits, right? We have developed maps on the basis of our geospatial information platform, which we call GIQ, on the basis of which we have actually developed mobility segments, right? So we have transported people without the use of any human intervention for 86,000 kilometers from the time that we've implemented it, right here in Abu Dhabi. We have now gotten to a stage where we can predict how vessels and ships will move with 90% accuracy. So recently we sponsored the Golden Globe race, which is a solo circumnavigation of the globe, using technology that existed only in the 1960s. We actually we sponsored Captain Abhilash Tommy, who is a retired Indian naval commander, out in the sea, and this is the first UAE vessel to circumnavigate the globe all by itself, right? And we developed a model that incorporated both IoT and artificial intelligence. We could take snapshots and pictures of him whenever they were available. We could take voices from him. We could take videos of his vessel, incorporate all that into a platform, get the artificial intelligence to predict weather, wind, and predict to 90% accuracy how his vessel would move, right? And we collected information, of course. His ship collected information from all the oceans of the world, right? I can go on and on about the practical, real implementation capabilities of this technology, but it essentially changed the way we look at data, right? Data is not just generated by human beings. Data is generated by everything around us. Like we are sitting here right now, but these cameras, these sensors, the mics that we're speaking into, everything that we say is actually captured and generates a cube of information that we can actually put into our geospatial model and then develop a system of predicting and analyzing. For example, if ADNOC or any energy company tomorrow wants to implement a rig in a distant horizon, we can actually help them understand, because we've got underground data as well, we can help them understand when is the best time to deploy resources. We can tell them where is the best place to drill. We can tell them what is the expected issues or problems and resources that they can generate out of that well. And also tell them, because we've got logistics and HR support, we can also support them in removing the resources, create a geospatial platform for logistics itself to tell them which is the best way to go about doing it, right? So, we touch everything that can be touched by human beings. We touch everything that can be sensed by any mode of sensors, be it video, audio, or sensors, right? We can incorporate all the data into a platform that can help you build the best systems and models for your city, for your country, for your company, in a much more efficient manner, saving hundreds of billions of dollars.
That's amazing, and particularly the predictive capabilities are very, very interesting. I wanted then to build on what you said, asking again, Amit. So, Amit, geospatial and all the things Renel said, where do you see the use cases in the capital markets? Renel particularly touched a very important point, which is ESG. And I wanted to hear your views, and obviously also the other two panelists, around this topic.
Yeah, so from a geospatial technology perspective, obviously ESG is a very important concept and theme currently in the investment markets. If you see the way ESG investment is currently trending, most of the large global institutional investors are kind of compelled to allocate a percentage of their portfolios to ESG compliant companies. And the compliance has been growing. And one of the key enablers for the growing of the compliance for companies under ESG parameters is the advent of geospatial technologies, specifically when it comes to the E part of the ESG. So just for the benefit of the audience, the ESG is comprised of 3 different components. It deals with environment, social, and governance factors. Governance and social factors obviously can be aided by technologies like big data and analyzing a lot voluminous amounts of data through different sources and channels. But specifically with relates to climate and emissions, I think geospatial has a very niche application in terms of discerning what kind of a carbon footprint a company has, and that goes as a very critical inclusion as far as their ESG quotient is concerned. So I think geospatial technologies are driving the advancement of ESG investment. It is helping portfolio managers. It is also helping people like index providers who are now trying to create benchmarks in information tools to be able to find information regarding companies in a more detailed and granular fashion, other than just the top line information about ESG. So that's how the geospatial technology is helping.
Thank you. Ram, what's your experience in the leverage of the data you create in the ESG space in a wider context?
So yes, I think adding on to Amit's points, generally, and to building on Renil's points as well, generally anything that has got a data footprint can be brought into an analytical platform like the TAQ platform that Presight has. And then we can potentially bring out both retrospective analysis as well as predictive analysis and predictions, etc. So from an ESG standpoint, for example, the ADAA use case, where we are helping various agencies on the governance side of things, fraud detection, and on the environmental side of things as well. I think there's plenty of complementary technologies and characteristics with Bionath as well, where we can manage, for example, optimum management of carbon footprints, and how do we minimize it, how do we optimize it. As long as we are able to get meaningful data into the platforms, I think we do have the capability here in the UAE, based on our data scientists and data engineers, to bring out very bespoke AI models and solutions to bring out this meaningful information, basis which some real-life decisions can be based upon, which our customers and clients can find useful.
Great, thank you. I wanted to shift the discussion slightly away. We talk now in great detail about what your businesses are doing and the relevance of their capabilities. All 3 companies, we're all based in Abu Dhabi. You particularly are competing on international level. You have capabilities that can be housed anywhere. You obviously are part of a big war for talent. I mean, these capabilities are scarce around the world. How do you leverage the Abu Dhabi ecosystem? And how do you then go from here onto the international stage?
I think I'll take that question first, right? Abu Dhabi is a great place to grow your business. Essentially, we have had the opportunity to leverage on the platform that Abu Dhabi has created in terms of both our organizational, environmental, and financial aspects. We strongly believe that building a workforce is also meaning that we hire the best talent that we can get and challenge them to deliver more than what they think they could do. What happens with Abu Dhabi is that we provide the best of both worlds in the sort of the middle of the earth, right? Essentially, you have access to all the cutting-edge technology. You have a great ecosystem to live in. It's a great place for families. You have all the ingredients that go into creating successful technological enterprises. Now, the leadership has consciously created that environment over the last couple of years, as is very evident, right? Now, what is also adding on to it is the great investment that has gone into this country over the last 50 plus years, where the infrastructure that we experience is best in class. I mean, today, if you travel to the east or the west, it's very difficult to find a comparison to Abu Dhabi. That said, we bring technology that is not dependent on the geography that we operate in. Whether it's our range of sensors or LIDAR that can be deployed anywhere, whether it's a mobility segment that can be deployed anywhere, or for example, the high altitude pseudo satellites that we have actually partnered with an international organization to bring into Abu Dhabi, manufacturing into Abu Dhabi, where it will be, the IP will be based in Abu Dhabi. These are essentially drones that are solar powered, that can go into the stratosphere. They're not in orbit, but in the stratosphere, can remain there for months, 200 plus days, as it is evidenced today. It doesn't need any infrastructure on the ground and can collect information. It also has got payload, so we can actually put a transmitter there and can also be used for optical technology. We can even gauge air quality from the HAPS. I mean, technology like this, if we were to implement it in another geography, right, there would be 100 questions as to why this should be done and, regulations that had to be followed and stuff like that. But in Abu Dhabi, there is this wonderful ecosystem that lets you experiment. I mean, we try, sometimes we are successful, and many a times we are extremely successful. Sometimes we fail as well. But the ecosystem provides us that opportunity to try different things, bringing really unheard of technology and opportunities to companies that operate in this sphere, whether it's through ADX, that I believe has been the most resilient stock exchange over the last few years. Whether it's ADGM bringing the opportunity to create companies that are governed by English law in this sphere, providing the right atmosphere, or providing technological platforms like us that can leapfrog any company or any organization into the next sphere. So it's an amazing opportunity for us to come here, build on scalable solutions, or be here, employ people here who are from really diverse, really science-oriented backgrounds, who are willing to come into this country today and build their families, build their lives, because they know that there is an awesome opportunity to build a career in this sphere.
Well, thank you. What is your view, Ram, on this similar question?
Renil went first, so he took a lot of points away. So I think all great points. I completely agree with that. But I would like to think about it in 3 or 4 key areas, right? I think which is very distinct to this country and to Abu Dhabi in specific. Firstly, the ecosystem in which we operate in, right? The key stakeholders. I think you have a tremendous amount of potential and access to research. We have some of the best AI research institutes in this country, and we work with them very closely. And they are a source of ideas and inspiration. Because the fundamental research, deep learning into AI and big data happens here in Abu Dhabi, and that's a great, that's a key stakeholder in the ecosystem, which is very, very, which is very important to us, and which helps us in our, growth and in our business objectives. The second is we also have significant, solutions providers within the ecosystem, technology partners that are able to provide us with some bespoke infrastructure. Just to kind of paint a very quick picture of AI, right? AI typically doesn't work on its own. It's a software platform, and its effectiveness is infinitely increased depending on the kind of infrastructure that you're able to bring to bear for that AI platform. So, for example, we work with our G42 cloud partners, which is a G42 company as well, to provide very bespoke cloud solutions, data warehouse solutions, especially in our international operations, on which our AI platform can sit, and our AI models are attached to those platforms, and then we can deliver the outcomes that are so desired by our customers. So that's a very important thing. Again, it's one of the lesser known fact, I think, but Abu Dhabi is a great source of the infrastructure capabilities, especially in terms of data center and cloud technology. And then we leverage that to a great extent. Of course, we also have the access to a great talent pool for all the good reasons that Renel mentioned. In terms of this plays plays a very important role in bringing in outside talent and also in a sustainable manner. So the talent usually stay on for a long periods of time. So we have within Presight, since our inception, we have very low attrition rates simply because of the quality of work life and the balance we provide. And also, we have significant employee-related programs that have been put together by our HR teams. For example, the Accelerator program, whereby it's a 12-month program focused on developing local Emirati talent, identifying future leaders. So who can take the baton up into the technology industry. And finally, last but not least, we have ADX, where we have been given this opportunity, and it's been a tremendous growth booster for us. I would think about it as a force multiplier, whereby they're able to fuel our growth ambitions for Presight as a company.
Thank you very much for that. So I think we talked a lot about the capabilities and what has happened now. On a personal front, for me, when I first time used ChatGPT, which is everybody talking about, it was a wow moment. So as a closing question, I would really like to understand, where is this going? What is the outlook in 5 to 10 years? What are the wow moments you have in the industry that me as end user is still far away, that has hit you or you expect to come to us soon? So if we maybe start with Ram, then Amit, you can give the view from financial markets, and then we conclude with Renel.
I think, my view is very simple. AI is here to stay, and not just stay. It is here to actually propagate in a much more accelerated fashion in the next 5 to 10 years. So I see, in my view, a tremendous adoption of AI across all facets of our life. So this could be enterprises looking to adopt AI tools and techniques, maybe to improve their operational efficiencies, identify areas where they can bring about more productivity. From a personal standpoint, it is going to, like Renel pointed out, it is going to be a key part of our lives in terms of bringing out automated vehicles and various home devices, personal assistants who are AI-driven, smart assistants, etc., etc. So I don't see this, and especially with the proliferation of data, which is both the digital footprints as well as, like Renel pointed out, which is imagery or anything that is creating a sensory differential is a potential input for an AI model. And just thinking about it, it's just fascinating where this journey could take us. And hopefully, all this helps us to improve the lives of citizens at large around the world.
Thank you. Amit, what do you think? How will this further shape capital markets?
So just to take a step back, the technologies that we're talking about and how profoundly they have been impacting the traders and the investors. Just to give you a couple of examples that stand out. So we are at a stage where we are seeing, and not necessarily in this particular market and the region, but globally, the applications of the emerging technologies of AI and big data and geospatial have kind of stormed the areas which are now in technical terms known as algo trading. So you see mushrooming of professional trading firms, quantitative trading firms, who are differentiating themselves by creating businesses that solely rely on day trading. That means they trade for making a living. And all these are so severely dependent on these emerging technologies. Some of the way that they strategize is, for example, a trading firm which is proprietary in nature and which is trading all different markets globally would come up with, price trends. So for example, before even the stock market opens, a pre-open price trend is assimilated using, the big data analysis capabilities and computing power so that the traders know where the price is going to open, probably, right? And when the market actually opens, they put these models, which are programmed algorithms, which are intelligent enough to take real-time data, process that data in real time, and then throw out predictive models of how the price is going to span out during the day. And then on the other side, you have got high-frequency trading firms who are using these fast electronic networks and combining them with these algorithm logics to come up with fast frequency trading, which basically means they're buying and selling millions of shares in a matter of seconds, just buying and selling for a very small amount of profit, and that becomes their business. Now that has disrupting effect on the capital market and the stock markets in particular, because they help deepen the liquidity. They bring in, the amount of trading that the retail investors want to come. Retail investors can anytime enter and exit because these large computer-driven entities are making the market liquid both from the buy and the sell side. So this is on the trading side. Now that is evolving into something called as robo-trading. So now we have, the intelligent algorithms being utilized to program and put as a box where the human is not even there to look at the market. They've just pre-programmed, and the robot is using, the machine learning capability, which is now evolving with AI, to take inputs on a real-time basis from the market and then adjust its strategy during the day. So the involvement of humans is becoming more and more less. And the interesting part is that in the future, as we see in science fiction wars, you'll start seeing that these professional trading firms are actually at war, right? So they'll be trying to anticipate what their competitors are doing, because at the end of the day, they're playing in the same market. So that's the interesting part, that's on the trading side. On the investment side, there is a lot of managed portfolio investment that is now trickling in, again, leveraging the big data analytical capabilities and artificial intelligence. One of the case in point is one of the largest asset managers globally, BlackRock, has launched a fund which is called as AIEQ. It's an actively managed ETF which uses purely artificial intelligence and leverages on 4 factors, which span across financials and news and management capability and macro factors to basically come out with a portfolio of 30 to 200 stocks on an actively managed basis out of a universe of 6,000 stocks. So this is a completely hands-off, actively managed ETF. It's already $100 million US in terms of assets under management. And then there are investors who can, participate in a product like this. And since BlackRock has embraced this technology, I'm sure we are going to see in the future many products coming in that will be utilizing the artificial intelligence and big data. Also on the geospatial technology, a very interesting concept that is coming in is on the governance side, that when a company is talking about, how they're interacting with their clients or what is the reach of their clients, what kind of, business growth they're seeing, that can kind of be, matched or monitored by images from the satellites. Just to give you an example, for example, a company running malls, what kind of a footfall they have can be then determined by, a satellite imagery that comes from geospatial technologies, etc. So whatever is being reported by the companies for investment purposes is now getting more and more intelligible and can be checked across, for its accuracy. So I think the stock markets are at a very, very interesting juncture, because we are going to see the application of these technologies across the product sets, including ETFs, derivatives, financial market, quantitative trading, arbitrage strategies, so on and so forth.
Thank you very much, Amit. That's a very, very interesting and all-encompassing outlook. To close the panel, Reinhard, what's the wow moment from your point of view that's going to come?
You'd forgotten that I'd answer, but yeah, thank you. So Ram and Amit have actually explained most of it, right? But let me ask this question. Many years ago, right, when we thought of artificial intelligence or robotics, right, we saw Iron Man kind of coming into our homes and serving us food, right? or we saw this fancy screen which had like this fancy lady who had a fancy, very fancy name, who we'd call and ask all these questions, right? What we have not realized, or some of us are slowly realizing, is that AI is omnipresent. If you use a phone today, if you take a picture and then the picture gets automatically corrected, right? Or if you use email or start typing something and it automatically corrects you and puts something in there or predicts something that should be put in there, that's AI. That's robots, right? The world is not run by, I mean, look around you, you're not seeing hundreds of robots in steel-clad uniforms running around. But it's actually being run by small bots that exist in all our machines that is actually determining the way you look, you speak, and you're interpreted by the outside world. So AI is already here, but there's a big difference. What we see today is called artificial narrow intelligence. So it can do programmable, repeatable tasks, right? The journey has started towards getting to artificial general intelligence. And ChatGPT that you mentioned at the beginning is just the beginning of that story, right? It is still not AGI. AGI is a place where Matthias, you, me, Ram, and Amit don't need to be here. We can actually create models of how we think, how we behave, what is the knowledge we have, what is the background, into a system, and we can actually run this panel with our own bots, right? We're sitting somewhere else and there is something else running this whole program. And that's going to be artificial general intelligence, where systems, processes, countries will be run by a system that will generate programs and predictive capabilities that will determine how we function. Right?
How far out is this?
I'm not a good predictor on that front, right? But what we cannot forget is that some of those capabilities are already existing. And I still remember when semiconductors were first implemented into our scenario, right? We had predicted that the size of the semiconductors will drop by such instant every year, right? That is not the case anymore. What is going to happen is significant disruption in the way we live our lives. Disruption in certain professions. Data analysis is going to go through significant disruption. Equity analysis, equity research, already starting to be disrupted, right? Doctors, I mean, some of us think that doctors cannot be disrupted, but doctors and lawyers will be the first profession that is potentially disrupted, because all their knowledge is acquired by repetitive understanding of scenarios and laws or medical implications.
Don't forget accountants.
Now, accountants, I mean, the typical accountants will be disrupted, but don't forget that when ChatGPT took the legal exam and the medical exam, it won it by a significant margin. When it took the auditing exam, it scored only 41%, right?
So that's the creative part.
Still not qualified. So that's why...
So they got to use our platform more.
That's why the move from ANI to AGI is very, very important, right? Where is this going to go? Like I said, right? Tomorrow, if we are able to wake up and be told, like Google already does this, you can say, hello Google, and it will tell you the path towards your office is 10 minutes or 12 minutes. It will tell you that the weather is X and Y. But tomorrow, if you imagine that you have these meetings scheduled, right? But the AI actually predicts that, you seem to be in a bad mood. Let's not have these meetings today, or shift these meetings from this morning to tomorrow when you are supposed to get some exercise and some good sleep. That could happen very, very soon, right? I mean, the future is amongst us. We just need to see the broader picture, the bigger picture of how the world is going to move, right? And our aim, our intent as G42, as Bayanath, as Presight, as technology companies that are in this ecosystem is to grab that, bring it to the forefront right now, control the narrative in a way so that we can provide the best-in-class services to our customers, to our citizens, to ensure that, we build an economy that is self-powering and empowering our people who can take these decisions to guide us, right? I mean, Ram previously gave the example of COVID, right? At the time when the whole world was worried about COVID, we in Abu Dhabi connect people and understand how transmission of disease was happening, right? We could predict how our people will going to be impacted. And that is all within a span of a few weeks that we could implement that, right? Now, imagine a world where we could predict how the next pandemic is going to happen. Imagine a world where we can predict to the accuracy of saying when is the next financial crisis is going to happen. When that happens, I'll tell you that AGI is in place,
Okay.
Or did?
Just to
Thank you.
add to what Renil said, and some numbers which will be very intriguing for the audience. The stage that we are currently today, we are talking about the future, but even currently, and looking at the largest global financial market, which is the US markets, algo trading accounts for 50% of the daily traded volumes, and high frequency trading accounts for 70% of the average daily traded volume. So it's already dominating. And in a recent survey that was done by one of the large 5 institutions with a big set of trading firms on the Chat GPT, advent of Chat GPT and generative AI, they were asked how they see AI impacting, the trading and the financial market investment. And 70% of them were of the view that in the next 5 years, AI would be the dominating factor for all investment and trading decisions globally.
So thank you. So what we have learned today is the capabilities of Presight and Bionut are very much in our world. They already are impacting the capital markets. They're going to do this significantly more going forward. I would like to tremendously thank all 3 panelists for having made themselves available and share their experiences. I would like to highlight again, Bionut and Presight are listed companies at ADX. And finally, we have a booth here in Hall 8, and if you would like to continue the discussion or have follow-up questions, we will be there for you. So thank you very much for your interest and attendance today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.